Welcome back. We have a really fascinating submission today. It's a declaration of intent and some planning notes from a listener who wants to run for Congress in California in 2026.
And the timeline here is, it's everything. We have to jump right into the actionable steps because the clock on the primary process is already ticking.
It really is. I mean, if the mechanics of just getting on the ballot aren't solidified, none of the rest of it, the policy, the message, none of it matters.
Exactly.
So that immediate deadline is like the loudest thing in these notes. The listener, they've correctly flagged the filing window, February 9th to March 6th.
Right, and the 40 to 60 signatures. They know the target.
They know the target, but here's the ambiguity. The notes literally ask, I wonder if I can get e-signatures. Can I do it online?
And that question right there, that's the whole ballgame. It's the foundation, and it has to be rock solid.
I mean, that's really the heart of the first issue, isn't it? The critical timeline for entering the race is clearly identified, but the notes reveal a lack of certainty around the execution strategy required to meet the immediate deadlines.
And it's not just about, being efficient. It's about legality. In California, these signature requirements can be, they can be notoriously specific.
Down to the ink colors sometimes.
Seriously. Or if you need a physical witness standing right there.
So the weakness here is that this one little bit of uncertainty, e-signatures versus paper, it introduces this massive non-negotiable risk.
It's a campaign killer.
Right. Imagine you spend the next few weeks building out a whole digital signature strategy.
Only to find out on February 8th that you needed ink on paper the whole time.
You've completely missed your shot. The campaign just cannot afford to wonder about these fundamentals.
No. So the suggestion, the immediate next step, has to be a pretty radical shift.
Away from general research, like Googling.
Exactly. And toward a really forensic level of tactical planning. It's about regulatory verification, and it needs to happen, today.
That election official's office has to become your most important contact immediately.
And getting those answers isn't always easy. They're busy people.
Right, so that's why the first actionable step has to be so focused. We're talking dedicate a fixed, non-negotiable period of time, say the next 72 hours.
And in that time, your only job is contacting and confirming the legal specs for all signatures.
E-signatures, physical, witness requirements, submission format, everything.
And you have to get it in writing. Not just a verbal, yeah, that should be fine, over the phone. You need confirmation you can rely on. Leave zero room for I won.
Okay, so once that legal path is clear, what's step 2?
Step 2 is you immediately build what we call a signature acquisition pipeline.
I like that. It sounds official.
It is. It's about taking it from I need 60 signatures to something more like I need 2 signatures per day, every day from February 9th to March 6th.
Plus a buffer.
Always a buffer. And you pair that daily quota with specific identified places you're going to get them.
So you're not just hoping, you're planning.
Exactly. If your support is on social media, how do you legally bridge that digital world to the physical signature you might need? You have to map out who you're asking and where.
That makes the whole thing feel so much more systematic, less stressful.
It reduces the panic, for sure. And the final step here is delegate. It's so critical.
You can't do it all yourself.
Not a chance. You need to immediately find one person, a volunteer maybe, and make them the logistics compliance officer.
Their one and only job is dealing with the election officials, tracking the documents, handling the filing.
Yes, that is way too important for the candidate to be managing while also trying to develop policy and meet vote. You have to delegate that.
Okay, so that sets up the structure. That gets the campaign on the ballot.
Right.
So now, what are they going to tell the voters? Let's talk about the platform.
Yeah, the core policy goal, making adult work illegal until age 25. I mean, that's bold. It's unique. It's designed to grab your attention.
It absolutely is. But the notes also say the listener has so many other agendas. And that, to me, that feels like a red flag.
I couldn't agree more. When you're a newcomer running against, 52 incumbents?
Yeah, 52 established reps. Breadth is your enemy.
It really is. And that leads to the second major point. While the primary policy goal is bold and unique, making adult work not legal until age 25, the lack of supporting context and the reference to so many other agendas dilutes the immediate impact of the core message.
The weakness is just its policy fragmentation.
You're splitting your fire.
Well, flagship issue that defines you. Right now, it's a powerful personal belief, but it's not quite a a robust legislative proposal yet.
So the suggestion is pretty clear. You have to drill down on that core goal.
Make it the non-negotiable focus for this whole initial phase. And you have to back it up with a real legislative rationale. Connect that powerful emotional why.
The fear of a dystopian future, protecting the kids.
Yes, connect that to the legislative how. That emotional core is strong, but it needs an intellectual spine to hold up.
So for an actionable step, the first thing to do is probably temporarily shelve so many other agendas.
Just put them aside for now.
And focus all that energy on building a short, detailed policy memo, something that proves the viability and the necessity of this age 25 goal.
And use real data.
Right. Look at neurological development studies, the ones that show the prefrontal cortex is still developing into your mid-20s.
Or stats on exploitation in certain industries. Find parallel laws that already use age barriers over 18.
That's how you move the argument from just a personal feeling into, real, objective policy territory. It gives you credibility.
And that credibility is everything. Now, building on that, let's talk about the messaging. The notes mention the motivation of being a mother of 3.
Which is so powerful.
You have to leverage that. So, a second step, frame the policy explicitly. Call it something like the Generation Alpha Beta Protection Act.
Oh, I like it. It immediately translates this technical age rule into a clear moral mission.
It aligns the policy with the deepest personal motivation.
And then the third step has to be the mechanism. How does this bill actually work?
Yes, the blueprint. A bold idea needs a blueprint. Are you amending state labor law? Are you targeting specific high-risk jobs?
That kind of specificity is what makes the proposal feel serious, especially when the media starts asking questions or opponents start attacking it.
Which they will.
Oh, they definitely will. So you have to move this from a personal desire to a well-researched mandate. That brings us to the third big area, right?
Yeah, translating all this intense personal urgency into a public-facing message, into something that actually drives people to act.
And the internal motivation here is it's incredible. The story of overcoming the need to shut it out to protect your own mental health.
That fear of watching the world just crumble.
That kind of vulnerability is campaign gold. People connect with that kind of authenticity.
They really do. And that's why this part is so important. The motivation rooted in protecting mental health and concern for the future of Generation Alpha and Beta provides a powerful, relatable foundation. But the proposed slogan fails to translate this deep personal urgency into a compelling public call to action.
The slogan, California could be good?
Yeah.
I mean, the weakness is it's so passive. It's vague.
There's no tension in it, especially when you put it next to words from the notes like crumble and dystopian.
Exactly. The slogan doesn't match the stakes. You can't fight a potential dystopia with a maybe or a could be.
So the suggestion here is to build a narrative bridge. The campaign has to be framed as the necessary outcome of that personal struggle against despair.
And the slogan needs to reflect that. It needs to be active, urgent, and tailored to that social following that's already there.
You have a story of personal transformation into political action. You have to tell it.
So for a concrete example, you could develop a core narrative that really spells out that shift.
Something like, I was spiraling, trying to ignore the darkness to protect myself, but I realized protecting my kids means facing it head on.
So my focus isn't ignoring the world anymore. It's dealing with it, starting right here in my state. That makes the run feel like a moral imperative, not just a career choice.
And then you test new slogans, things that reflect those high stakes.
Get away from the passive stuff.
Right. Try something that incorporates action and the future. Maybe stop the spiral. Build a better California now.
Or something like fighting for Generation Alpha, the 2026 mandate. It's specific, it's dynamic, and it captures that urgency.
And the final step is just making sure that public appeal connects everything. It has to connect the personal sacrifice, the choice to deal with the dark and depressing things,
to the specific policy goal, the age 25 rule.
And then that policy becomes the proof. It's the tangible evidence that you're actually following through on that promise to deal with the world's problems.
The narrative validates the policy.
And the policy validates the narrative. It creates a perfect loop.
So to recap the 3 big areas for refinement. First, immediately firm up the operational process for getting those signatures.
Turn that ambiguity into a hard, tactical checklist.
Second, you have to rigorously support and prioritize that single core policy platform, that 25 and older rule.
Move it from a compelling idea to a serious legislative blueprint.
And third, strengthen that campaign narrative and slogan. Translate that powerful personal urgency into a real public call to action.
You have the clarity of vision, now you just need the clarity of execution. Take that immense emotional driver, protecting the next generation, and turn it into a checklist backed by legislative specifics.
That goal of getting the first signature is a lot less daunting when you know exactly how and where you can legally get it.
Absolutely.
We are really looking forward to seeing the refined materials, especially that operational plan and the policy memo. Send them to us when they're ready, and we'll critique the next stage.